They do.
I'm just asking. That's just,
They do not in the 320 acres.
Oh, okay. That's where I missed it. Anyway, I would like to see you clarify between state and city who has the authority in regards to closing the street for an event, and if there's hours involved or not. By next meeting, is this possible? And what he said, and who's got the purview, and does state supersede city in this regard?
State certainly says you can't close Main Street.
Right.
'Cause that's a state highway.
That's a state highway, but we're talking.
You can't close the U.S. highway either. But if you
Spring Street's
task me
on
with the
top.
job of finding out for the other streets,
Well, we're
I'll look
asking
at it.
about Spring Street, right?
Do we need a motion or a second or something to ask?
Make it a motion.
Oh, okay. I make a motion you look into everything I just said.
Second.
Made and seconded. Any further discussion on that part of it? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Any further discussion on Mr. Mitchell? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to add a few more things. The report's very nice, and I appreciate the concise manner in which it is. There's a couple of things here, and I have still not grasped the concept of why the alternative of utilizing Center Street, leaving Spring Street open, is not a viable option for this event, number one. And number two, a gentleman came at our last meeting that stood there and discussed someplace where when you got your permit for a vendor, like if you have your tent up and you got your permit, you also got a form in which you collected sales tax. And that form, that had two copies, and one went to the promoter of the event and the other one was sent in with your check. So I don't, unless I missed it here, I don't see anything about attempting to collect sales tax. And I thought that was one of the issues that was raised by a lot of people, that it seems unfair that these vendors are coming in and not collecting. And from a standpoint of city finances, I don't think it's going to make or break us at all, but it seems like that issue should be looked at as a viable option in trying to collect some sales tax. And then back to why not Center Street?
We've done 2 art fairs, and again, I want to be very clear that we're not talking about an art fair. So, I mean, it's an experience, it's an event. So it goes a little further even when it comes to the tax issue as well. We've done a couple of shows closing the Spring Street for an outdoor during May Festival of the Arts, and it was not a pleasant experience for our artists. And they, when we brought it up again, they said, no, we really don't want to do that. Have it in Basin Park, which we did this year only in Basin Park. It's a limited space. It also poses a problem. There's actually more parking on Center Street than there is on Spring Street. But it just was a very unpleasant experience that they were not interested in at all. As far as the taxes go, what typically happens on those, and I think what was referred to, is there is a verification. We wouldn't, as the promoter, wouldn't collect the taxes. Right. What we would do is get a commitment from them, and we would do this actually before with their application process, that they have a sales tax number and that they are responsible for collecting and paying those taxes. Right. So that's what we would do. That's standard with most promotions.
The gentleman had mentioned the reason it was like a 2-part form is that the promoter got it so they could anticipate how much was sold. So they would have an idea, was it a successful event or not, I think was the part when that part of the form came back to the event promoter. But then again, we don't forget we have CAPC, so they would be, besides state, there would be,
right.
There would have to be those taxes that come to us too. So okay.
We would clearly look into that and get a clarification on that, but I do know that it's very common to make sure that they are vetted to make sure that they have a tax ID number and they're responsible for it.
So you're basically saying Center Street is a no?
We feel it's a no. And again, we're not looking for a location. We're looking for an experience, and Spring Street represents that. And it's not necessarily just an art fair And it may, depending, not even be an art fair. It might be an artistic event of some sort with performance arts. Mr. Plum?
I appreciate you being here, Sandy, and you know, if a person takes a drive over to Bentonville and drives down 72, which is Main Street or whatever that is, that runs through the square there. I mean, it's just like when 540 came in. When 540 was built, we thought, oh, it's going to make it so much easier for all the tourists from Texas to get here. It's going to be wonderful. And then what happens? All the whatever the good word is for it that describes it, everything that comes with it, all the dining, the hotels, the infrastructure was built right along with it, and it hurt us. And we didn't see it coming. I sure didn't. And I think I can say that generally for Eureka Springs, and it slammed us. Bentonville, with the hotel they built there, with the Harp's Grocery being taken down and another strip being built. I mean, they're if they want to, they can eat us alive, and that is very true. However, I'm still not sold on Spring Street like that. Unfortunately, just topography is part of it, and I know you're not thinking a street fair or a art fair, but to me, I think these parking lots here at the courthouse, both sides, would be a more leisurely setup, and maybe give the same feel and not interrupt the traffic flow. And I mean, we've had arts and crafts fairs there before, back in the 70s and 80s, that were killer. I mean, really, really powerful. I think it would give a great location for it, and would not affect the flow of traffic. It's going to be more parking spots, but you know, I mean, you know what? We've always had a problem parking here. So, but if they can drive through and say, "Hey, I want to get out and go see what's going on there," then they'll find a way to do it.
And I appreciate that comment, and I think that's a separate thing than what we were talking about around Spring Street, and that's certainly doable, and we will look into that as well. But it's not the Eureka.
I understand,
concept.
but yeah, but
Yeah,
it
I
you know, there's
appreciate
going to have to be a coming together somewheres here.
And we're going to have to compete. And the Arts Council, again, we're an economic commission, so we're trying to build business and come up with different ways, and we are also wanting to not continue to lose our artists to Bentonville or to Fayetteville. And that's very concerning, because if we don't have that and we don't have the tourism, then we're all dealing with a bigger issue than just closing Spring Street.
You're still thinking just a one-time deal.
And again, our thinking in the last recommendation is, I don't think, and the Arts Council doesn't think, that this has even been given a chance to really be discussed creatively, to really kind of flush out what this could be and to take everything into consideration. We did a lot for the first time around, but there have been other people that have recommended, for example, more of a culinary and more of a performance arts bent. It could change that. So the main thing is we still have a lot of work to do and a lot of discussion. You know, if it's even viable or whatever you all decide to do. It's up to you.
Ms. Zeller, you were at me.
Well, my concern is for the downtown merchants and the overwhelming opposition that we've had from the downtown merchants. I think it's probably too late this year to get something of this size organized with what we have left of the season, which is September, October, and maybe November, depending on the weather. Who knows? Sometimes it snows and sometimes it's 80 degrees. But I wouldn't, even if we find out that the city council has the final word on closing that street, there is no way that I would want us to go ahead and do that without a very serious canvassing of all of the downtown merchants and being assured that at least the majority, maybe more than the majority, maybe at least 2/3 of them go along with this, because the financial risk of even losing one day in this fragile economy is just too much for them to contemplate. Business hasn't been that good this year, and the idea of having a Saturday with nobody coming into your store is like the worst nightmare. So they have to sign on to this. If they keep coming to us and keep telling us that they don't want this, there's no way in the world that I could vote for it, nor I don't think any of us could vote for it, because we represent these people. They are our bread and butter. They're our income. And if they don't want this to happen, then we can't force it on them. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Mitchell.
I applaud you for the concept of what you're doing. I don't think we need another task force for tourism, because I think that's what CAPC does, and they just need to crank it up if they're not. But I understand where you're coming from. And if your concept is serve as a community collaborator to create and stimulate creative economic development through arts and entertainment, again, I applaud that, and I think that should be the focus. But somehow, the whole focus of everything here is Spring Street, Spring Street, Spring Street. It's the 800-pound gorilla in this discussion right now. It's not all the rest that you want to do that's on this paper. I applaud you for it. It is absolutely excellent. Anything to stimulate business, which we're down, 2.6%, if not more. We're going to find out here. That's not good statistics right now when we're getting ready to go into the budget next year. Not good at all. Because how quick does 2.6 slip to 5 to 10, and then the next thing you know. And there's nothing worse than being in a reactive situation when we could be proactive right now. So I'm 100% behind your concept and your EUREKA, have no doubt about it. I just wish there was a way to take this focus off Spring Street and come up with an alternative. And I'm not too sure that Mr. McClung's idea of these two closed down parking lots with the tents and people coming by and coming in is not an excellent attempt to try.
Well, what that does too, that allows the shops and the restaurants, to be more of a participator as well, in the current galleries and things like that, and make it a possible way to unify instead of diversify.
That's what we want.
You bet. I know you do.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Mr. Schneider.
Just something to think about. If you have street performers and things like that, I don't see that there would be a problem having the booths and the tents and stuff like, say, down here, like they were saying, but have the performance artists scattered all over town. That would tie everything together without taking away or,
Yeah, that's it, because we also looked at the opportunity at North Main with the music park. That was a terrific surprise to us how well that worked when we put the temporary stage up with Trout Fishing in America and how much everybody enjoyed it. That gives us an opportunity down there. That also is where we were thinking about possibly doing the culinary out in the park, because we did get comments back from the merchants about don't do any cooking on Spring Street because the smoke and the odor is problematic. So we try to take that in consideration. And again, we're looking at a citywide thing, but Spring Street keeps coming up because that's our brand. That's why we're Little Switzerland. That's why we're. So something has to happen on Spring Street, and it may not be. It may be performance arts, maybe little carts with flowers and food, farmers market.
Things going on up and down there, the big clumpy stuff down here, that would utilize the whole city and keep the whole city involved.
And that's what we'd like to do.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank
Appreciate you.
Thank you all very much for your
Okay, that moves us on to number 4, recycling conference in September. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open. Anybody want to go? Mr. Schneider, go ahead.
Has anybody yet found out anything about them? Everybody I've asked knows nothing.
I've not found anything about it.
I got something on it, but I threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Well, the chamber sent out a thing saying, and they don't even know where it came from.
Maybe there isn't one.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But how come you don't know about it? No, the chamber doesn't know who sent them the information. We're supposed to be a major recycling town, super green and everything else, and nobody knows what it's about, who's coming, who sent the information to the chamber?
Are you sure there's going to be one?
Yes,
Yeah, this one.
in the Ozarks.
Oh, well,
Major change.
well,
You
they
can go if
must
you want to
know.
go.
I want, okay, she just said you're going to be doing a
Apparently so,
welcome.
yeah,
What do you
apparently so.
know about it?
That they're going to have it. I go there and say, hey, welcome. Then I go do my stuff. That's it. That's all I can tell
That's
you, Mickey, because
it.
it's not been the top of my priority list. Okay?
Well, call the Inn of the Ozarks. They should know.
Yeah.
As the city council of a major recycling town, where people have come from all over the country to look at our new recycling thing when we first started it and everything else, wouldn't it behoove us to be representing our city in some way and quit looking like that?
You don't want
You're
people
looking
to
like
visit
what?
out there.
I'm looking at, he makes faces at me. Wouldn't it behoove us to be like a
If-
major part of this?
If you want to
in some
go,
way?
go. Yeah.
It's not if I want to go, it's we're the city council representing a recycling center. Why aren't we knowledgeable or invited or going as a group?
Any other discussion? Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion that Ms. Snyder go as our representative.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's fine and dandy. Who do I contact?
That's
Inn
your
of
problem.
the
Who's on
Ozarks.
first?
Nobody
I don't know.
Okay.
knows.
Moves us on to number 5, resolution for the parks loan that you have in front of you. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Suck.
Second.
Floor's open.
Okay, well, this is the bridge
Mr.
loan.
McClung.
I make a motion that we
Signing a number.
assign a number and read and pass this resolution for Parks Bridge loan.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion on it? All right. Hang on. We'll get a number.
I don't have a bridge loan.
Is this something we're supposed to have a copy of?
I don't have one.
It should be, it's in your boxes.
Okay.
It looks like this one.
What stuff you picked up?
It looks like this.
Resolution with no number.
I've got a budget adjustment.
That's it.
Transmission. Oh, the budget adjustment.
Yeah, budget
Oh.
adjustment.
Oh, that's the Parks Bridge loan? Oh.
Yes.
okay.
The resolution number is 623. Resolution making a 2013 budget adjustment. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that the 2013 fiscal budget should be amended.
They're going to approve it with their vote. They need to actually approve it before you read it.
We did. Oh, no, we haven't taken a vote yet.
You need
did
to
we?
take a vote.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now,
Oh, thank you, Tim.
slip by me.
Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that the 2013 fiscal budget should be amended. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, that the following line items be increased by council request. Transfers out. Parks Commission line item 01005720 increased by $45,000 as a bridge loan for Leatherwood Road construction. Section 2, that the funds shall be moved from the general fund. Section 3, upon passage of this resolution, all changes will be entered into the Main Street Accounting Program and General Ledger. Section 4, Parks Commission will reimburse the general fund by December 31, 2013. There will be no interest fees assessed for this loan.
That's it?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Moves us on to number 6, resolution for free Christmas parking in metered spaces in Eureka Springs for the Christmas.
Motion to discuss.
Second,
Second. Sorry.
floor is open.
Go for it. No.
You should also have a unnumbered resolution. Ms. Schneider, go ahead.
Oh, if I can find my paper again. My question on that was, okay, it says the parking meters on Spring and Main, there it is. On Spring and Main, so so to clarify, that is parking meters on the streets only, not the parking lots down here?
On Main Street, Spring and Main, not the parking lots.
I wanted that clarified. Okay, thank you. Mostly because there has been commentary from a few of the shops in past years that it isn't fair to tell the people who are parking on the street that it's free and not allowing it in the parking lots. Just so you know.
Mr. McClung.
We've done this in years past.
Yes.
What's the procedure for monitoring 2 hours worth?
Street guys. Angelo. He's our procedure.
He's a hawk.
And
Billy's pretty good too.
I mean, do they really? I mean, 2 hour. You know, I mean, it's not when it's free.
it's a courtesy.
It is a courtesy.
And they've had hammered a few that
Okay,
that took
that's.
advantage
I was
of it.
just
Yeah,
curious
yeah.
about that
It's
because I know
enforced.
there are those who will
Because I think the signs are still hung on the meters.
take
that indicates
will take the retail spot. You
such a
know,
thing will
or
happen.
a retail person can take
Boys
that
are really
spot for all
good
day.
about
Okay,
that.
good. That's great. I'm just
What
curious.
2 hours?
Any 2 hours.
You can park
Any
for
2
2 hours free, and then you have to move your car.
Yeah. Gives you enough time to do
Okay.
2 hours worth of shopping.
9:30 to 11:30,
On Main and Spring.
Okay.
10 to 12, 6:45 to 8:45.
Last year, or last council included all the parking lots too, which I don't think it worked too well. So this is the original concept of the way it has been for more years than I can think about. It relieves a lot of congestion and everybody get confused. You just park on Spring Street or Main Street at a metered spot for 2 hours, then move on. You can move to the lot if you want to, but you're going to pay for what you're going to get. Yes, sir.
We're finished.
Unless you're talking.
I'd like to make a motion to provide a number for this resolution and read it, pass it
Second.
tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I bid a 624.
I do too. I already wrote it.
But we'll wait for the official word from the clerk.
Resolution 624. A resolution removing the requirement of paying the parking meters on Spring and Main Street and establishing free 2-hour parking from December 1 through December 31, 2013. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, in an effort to promote business for the city during the period of December 1 to December 31, 2013, desires to establish free 2-hour parking on Spring Street and Main Street in metered spaces in Eureka Springs during the period of December 1 through December 31, 2013. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Eureka Springs, Arkansas that Section 1, free 2-hour parking is established on Spring Street and Main Street in metered spaces in Eureka Springs during the period of December 1 to December 31, 2013.
Thank you. Moves us on to number 7, an ordinance increasing the parking space rental fee for special events. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Floor is open.
Second.
Floor is still open. Ms. Snyder.
Go for it. It's about time. If you're going to take away the parking lot for whatever reason, and I have a couple of different groups that do this, you should be paying what the city would be making, not a third of what the city should be making. And I said that 10 years ago.
So you making a motion?
So I make it a motion that we accept this ordinance and give it a number and whatever else it is we do.
Sign it a number and
Sign a number and read it, and vote on it and say yes.
Mr. McClung.
Can we do this by resolution?
No, it is part of an ordinance. You have to amend it by ordinance.
I'll second her motion.
Okay. We will wait for the roll call. We're going to write this
Well,
down.
I don't think you need one this time.
We have to roll call
There's
it or
nothing
just
out
voice
of
vote?
order. There's
You
nothing.
can, you can voice vote it
Okay.
since they're going to have to read the whole
Okay,
ordinance.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Ordinance 2189, an ordinance amending Chapter 8.48 of the Municipal Code pertaining to parking.
Going to read the whole thing.
I'm thinking for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Oh, I see. It's part of the title.
Yeah. It got bumped over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas the City Council of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that it is in the best interest of the city to permit the daily rental of the city's parking lots for $9 per space per day for events, festivals, or city-approved activities authorized by a special event permit. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs that Chapter 8.48 of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended by adding Section 8.48.10 as follows. Section 1, Chapter 8.48.10, use of city parking lots. Up to 48, is it 48 or is it 50?
50.
Okay, up to 50. Up to 50 spaces in the courthouse parking lot and up to 36 spaces in the bathhouse parking lot will be available for use at the rate of $9 per space per day for any event, festival, or city-approved activity authorized by a special event permit. Section 2. All ordinances or resolutions and parts thereof in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. In the event that any one or more of the provisions contained in this ordinance shall for any reason be held by a court of competent jurisdiction to be invalid, illegal, or unenforceable in any respect, such invalidity, illegality, or unenforceability shall not affect the remaining provisions of this ordinance, and this ordinance shall be construed as if invalid, illegal, or unenforceable?
You have to read the whole thing, I think.
That's right.
The whole sentence as a whole makes legal sense.
No. No.
Mr. Reeve?
No, there's something really wrong with the last part.
Last sentence.
No other has been written that way.
Dyslexia is in high.
Looks fine to me.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Well, you're an attorney. It's okay. Okay.
And this ordinance shall be construed as if invalid, illegal, or unenforceable provision or provisions has never been contained herein. There's something a little
That
off
makes
about
sense.
it.
If such,
Okay.
invalid, which is referred to a sentence above.
Okay.
Okay. First read. That's it, Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2189 on its first reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. First read. Okay. Moves us on to number 8, Town Hall discussion.
Motion to discuss.
Floor is open. Mr. Mitchell.
We had what I would consider a very successful town hall meeting for the citizens who had a vested interest in the priorities of this city for the fiscal year 2013-14 and on, beyond. I don't know if there was an official head count. I hear that it was over 40. Some people said 43. But I don't think it's really the number of people that showed up for the town hall meeting as much as it was that the process was there it was open and we had participants, and that city council and the mayor and this elected body chose to involve the citizens in a very important process. Most businesses across the country operate by management by objectives. And at the beginning of the year, we ask our department heads and city commissions to come up with priorities or objectives for their areas. We've also asked them to give us a periodic update, hopefully quarterly, if not semi-annually, of which we have that. Out of those priorities that the city departments and the commissions identified, the council picked out 6, which we wanted to elevate to a higher level of importance. And we ID'd those, and then we went out and asked the citizens to give us input. The colored graph that I have developed for you, and I'm looking at it now since I did this at the last minute, I wish I had not used this graph, but it's what we've got. And you'll see along the bottom axis that there are the 6 priorities that we had identified, from the new fire station, the new restroom on North Main, infrastructure for water and sewer, city trams, Mill Hollow Bridge, and Black Bass Dam. So look down the other axis there, and you'll see that the new fire station started coming in, and then over on the other side you'll see color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's the ranking: priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the first line across is dark blue, and you'll see that huge column there under infrastructure. That's because that was the number 1 priority that the citizens had. And the second column down, which would have been the second priority there, you can see that obviously Black Bass Dam comes in as a number 2 on the priority listing, because their red column is the highest. Then you go to the third column, which is the green. The highest one there is Mill Hollow Bridge. So there are the first 3 priorities as identified by the public: infrastructure, Black Bass Dam, and Mill Hollow Bridge. And then it goes on. On the back side of your form is the comments and or any other comments that were made at the meeting that were listed on the forms that we set out. One person was concerned about city beautification, how we're doing on mowing, sweeping, trimming, weed control, and keeping the city looking aesthetically pleasing. Somebody else had mentioned on there, establish a noise decibel limit. I thought somewhere we had that in ordinance, but whatever. The next 2 are interesting: put more emphasis on keeping residents happy. And another one was to find ways to make us less dependent on tourism. Another one who mentioned must become a 12-month-a-year business environment. Parking came up, flooding on North Main, no to SWEPCO, no to fluoride, Onyx Cave billboard, and then the 11 Magnetic Road demolition. There was not really a lot of open comments. And I don't think this was any surprise. In a formal MBO system, the next step would be to take each one of these priorities and establish measurable action steps or action plans. And I think in some cases that'll be pretty easy to do, because we have another format that we had at the very beginning. And then also put a timeline and a potential estimated cost to them. And I will get that next form together and then visit with the presenters of each one of those priorities to see if we can establish some action plans that we can measure. Because definitely there are several of these processes, the one on infrastructure, that is obviously not just in this council's purview, but will be going long after us. Black Bass Dam, probably we're not going to get it this council, but it would sure be nice if we did. Mill Hollow Bridge, obviously the new restroom will probably have wrapped up maybe by the end of the year. So some things will move quicker than others. But some we will obviously be leaving for the council of 2015. And it would be nice to have some action steps. And at the same time, we also need, as we discuss our 2014 budget, we'll be discussing if there's any way to fund some of these projects. So there is more work to be done, but the nice thing about it is that this elected group of officials has put ourselves out there in front and accountable for what we have here.
Anybody else? Thank you, sir. Moves us on to agenda setting. Mr. DeVito's out. Mr. McClung.
I have nothing.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir. Ms. Blankenship asked that we consider at the next agenda 3 things on here, and one was the rezoning of 80 Mountain. Maybe we could put these 2 together. Rezoning 80 Mountain and then removing 80 Mountain from the list of R1 for religious purposes. That was
Second.
Second.
I think we can put that together. And then another one was the new definition of intimate theater as a conditional use in C3 that was out there.
Second.
And that would be it.
Anything else? Mr. Perkypile.
An update on Black Bass Dam, potential repairs.
Second.
Ms. Schneider.
Yeah, I'd like to add a discussion of when are we going to have our November meeting. Traditionally, it's a one meeting month, except when we would be doing it is Veterans Day. And so we need to decide if we're going to meet on 4/11 or 18. So I'd like to add that discussion.
Second.
Anything else?
No.
Ms. Zeller?
No, I don't have anything.
Moves us to council comments. Mr. McClung.
Great Bluegrass Festival. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, I know I did. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mitchell.
No, sir.
Mr. Perkypile.
No, thank you.
Ms. Schneider.
3 things. I'd like to remind everybody today is the day they started the final hearings in Little Rock. Cross fingers, toes, pray, send light, whatever it is that you do, that this whole project gets ended for Northwest Arkansas. Second thing, I would love to say happy birthday to my newest daughter-in-law. I'm here, sweetie, not at your party. Third thing, I rescued an 8-month-old boxer puppy yesterday. So we have our next polar plunge. The mayor gets to take 2 boxers plunging with him.
We can do it. Ms. Zeller?
No, I can't possibly follow that.
Okay. Only comments I have is that we do have a lawsuit filed against us by Mr. Dotson, Ray Dotson, regarding his use of his motorized carriage in town. We are under a temporary restraining order issued by the court, so we don't have a choice in the matter. And apparently, Wednesday morning will be the hearing for such. Mr. Weaver will be representing the city.
Where will the hearing be? Okay.
Berryville, Berryville. Yes, it's in
What
Berryville.
does
What
that
time?
restraining order, what does that mean? I mean, I don't,
We can't give them citations. The city police department cannot give citations. I'm sorry, go ahead.
is that right?
The gist of it is that we can't cite him for operating without a business license at this time. The court has made, at this point, a determination that his merits may prevail and that there's no adequate remedy at law. If he prevails, that would prevent him, so they restrain us from issuing citations at this point.
It does not prevent us from writing him traffic citations for any traffic violations in Act 300.
That is correct. It does not prevent us from citing him for other violations of either state, city, or federal code.
Does that mean that anybody can operate without a business license?
No. He has made a claim to the court that he is operating under either a business license issued by us or that he is operating under a business license issued by the city of Springdale.
Springdale?
Okay, so that's about as much discussion as we need to have on it here. All right, August 28th through 31st, Banjo Rally. August 27th through 31st, Carroll County Fair. September the 2nd, city offices are closed for Labor Day. September the 4th, Carnegie Public Library will host a library town meeting regarding developing a long-range strategic plan at 6 p.m. September the 6th through the 8th is the Antique Auto Show. September the 6th through the 7th is the Wood Carvers Festival at Pine Mountain parking lot. That's all I have. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Oh, I forgot to
Thank you.
announce that September 1st, my book will be on